Good morning, everybody. I think I'm live on both networks here on Facebook, Shenandoah Sew and Vac, and on Shenandoah Sew and Vac at YouTube. Okay, so good morning, everybody. And I know I'm just getting used to nobody watching me now, but watching me later. At least that's what they're saying. They're watching me later. So I'm entertaining myself and also keeping myself motivated to work. One of the things that I have found, and by the way, down there on YouTube, you can call me at my store number, which I don't have on the screen, 540-459-1888. Call, ask me questions, and I will try to answer them live and on the air. And if I need to, I'll run to a sewing machine or vacuum cleaner to try to illustrate what I'm talking about. Okay, but I'm basically going to be talking to the YouTube people because they will be able to see this later. And boy, do I look large on YouTube, on Facebook. But that's really just the angle of the camera and an up and down position, which I feel almost Catholic. The Facebook is up and down, and the YouTube is side to side, which is what TV screens were made for. And this new upright thing is something that is used for live conversations and on your phone only, where you can't watch it on TV very well. They always show that blurry edges on it there. Look, my hands are not on the screen on the Facebook page, but they are on the YouTube. So there you go. Alrighty, good morning, everybody, and it is Wednesday again. I am here live from Shenandoah Sew and Vac in Woodstock, Virginia, and I try to do this every Wednesday from 10 till whenever, and answer questions or make comments and try to help you with your daily needs, your vacuum cleaner, cleaning, lamp, and just life needs. Here we go. So, first of all, today I'd like to talk about door-to-door vacuum salesmen, and not in the way that you'd think. A lot of times people complain about door-to-door vacuum salesmen, and those guys have to make money too. I don't like the way they do it, but they do. When they come into your home and they have their brand new, right out of the box vacuum cleaner, the thing that's very interesting about it is completely set up as brand new. All right. Now, your vacuum cleaner, you might have had, if it's one of my vacuum cleaners, you could have had it up over 25 years. Okay. And they come with their brand new vacuum cleaner, stinking right out of the box. And they come in and they show you how much dirt their new vacuum picks up. And they usually use a filter and different things to show how that vacuum cleaner picks up dirt. Well, what you need to do is, if you really are considering to buy this vacuum cleaner from them right then, because they're going to hold you hostage for 2 hours, calling their supervisor and all that kind of stuff, is to not do it right then. Actually, wait. They will gladly sell you a vacuum cleaner anytime. Now, they might try to give you a special deal or whatever when you're there, because they've worked hard to get there. But what you want to do is, once they get done with all of their cleaning and everything, if you change your bag in your vacuum, if it's a bagged vacuum cleaner, or your bagless vacuum cleaner, empty your bag, clean all your filters if your vacuum cleaner has filters. If you're a bag vacuum cleaner has a bag over top of it, wash that bag in your sink, not in the dishwasher and not in the wash machine. And don't leave food in your sink when you're doing this. But you want to wash your bag really well, get it nice and clean, let it dry overnight, and put it back together again. Or if you have a canister vacuum cleaner that has the bag and then you got filters all around, change those filters out or clean them. Okay? Then the next thing you also want to do is your brush roll. Your brush roll is very important, because the brush roll is what kicks up the dirt. It agitates the floor. We all need agitation. That's why God gave us children. Some people say husbands or wives. That's not my opinion. But anyway, the floor needs agitation. Carpet needs agitation to pick up dirt. And so you need to make sure your brush roll is rubbing the floor and kicking the dirt back and forth. Remember what I said about Hoover? Hoover's slogan used to be, "It beats as it sweeps, as it cleans." It actually would pound on the carpet, cause it to jump, and the dirt would start coming out. All right. So you want to make sure that's good. Then also your belt. Now, people say, I've had this belt in my vacuum cleaner for 20 years. And I have seen people with belts on their vacuums for 20 years. Well, the problem is sometimes those belts don't break. They stretch. They get bigger. And as they get bigger, they start slipping a little bit. You might notice a little smell of rubber burning every once in a while. And you think, well, there's no smoke coming out. It must be okay. Well, the situation is that your brush roll could be, when you turn the vacuum cleaner over and look at it, that brush roll is spinning to beat the band. You think, what a deal. I have got a good vacuum. Well, the problem is sometimes when you turn the vacuum cleaner back over and you put it on the carpet, that brush roll stops turning. Now on Kirby, they got a little light. It's a science lesson because they put a magnet in your brush roll that as it spins, it creates electricity to turn on a light, a little green light on the side of your brush roll mechanism there in the bottom. And I think that's pretty neat. I tell people, there is a science lesson. It's creating electricity because of the spinning magnet. But if your belt is stretched and it will slip, that light goes out when you put it down on the carpet. And that's not good. So you want to make sure that you have a new belt on your vacuum cleaner. And I don't say change it every 90 days or whatever. Just change it when you think you need it. Don't just be like that. All right. So you do all those things. And now you are ready to test it against the other vacuum cleaner. Go over the floor that they just cleaned with your rebuilt or your refinished vacuum cleaner. And you'll be amazed at how much dirt you pick up. Matter of fact, you could do that, come back an hour or two later, do it again. You're still going to pick up dirt because dirt is hiding everywhere. It's almost like politicians. No, that's not true. Anyway, so some of them. Anyway, you want to make sure that your brush roll is in good shape, your bag is clean, you've got the optimum airflow, and also when you lower your vacuum down with the Kirby especially, you lower your vacuum cleaner down until you hear it rubbing on the carpet. Because if you go too low, what it's trying to do is pick up the carpet itself. And the dirt doesn't get picked up. I've told you the story before of me doing my little dog and pony show at the fair where I would have a bowling ball and I would put it on the floor and I'd take a suction cup on the end of my hose and pick up a bowling ball and everybody was just amazed. And it was a heavy bowling ball. I think it was like an 18-pounder. I mean, it was just a heavy bowling ball. Anyway, so then I would take a nickel and put it on the floor. And then I'd take that suction cup and put it on top of that nickel, turn on the vacuum cleaner, turn off the vacuum cleaner, and lo and behold, that nickel was still there because it was trying to pick up the carpet, not the nickel. You need airflow, air going underneath there, picking up that dirt and sucking it up into the hose. That is what cleans your floor, not suction. And I got people that say they want a vacuum with lots of suction, and I'll say, really? No, I try to explain to them the difference between suction and airflow. Airflow is what, if you ever seen those people on the news, Weather Channel, where the wind's blowing them, they're falling down and all that stuff, that's airflow. That's not suction. Airflow moves dirt and people too. Okay, so you want to make sure you have airflow to pick up the dirt. So you will be able to compete with a brand new vacuum cleaner by doing that. All right, so I just want to warn you that a lot of times if the vacuum that they're showing you does such a great job, well, that's probably because your vacuum cleaner has not been able to clean the way it should. And I'm a little plug here. I do recondition vacuum cleaners for people if it's available. Some of these newer vacuum cleaners, it's harder to get parts for. If the brush roll wears down on a new vacuum cleaner, a lot of times they stop making them. They're gone. But some of the big brand names like Kirby, Electrolux, even some Eureka, not a lot because they're going mass market now. But a lot of these vacuum cleaner companies make brush rolls that can be replaced. So you can go back in and change them. Oreck, by the way, hello, I'm David Oreck. Vacuum cleaners actually have a brush roll that you could turn to make it so it works better as time goes by. They make them to be continually used, even when they wear down a little bit. Nice little feature that they added onto their vacuums. And it amazes people when they say, I need a new brush roll. It's not moving like it used to. Well, then I'll just turn the brush roll a half a turn, put it back in, and it works like new. I had a customer the other day came in with one of my vacuums, which I sell Ricard. You on Facebook see it right, but you on YouTube see it. You on Facebook see it backwards. You on YouTube see it right. Anyway, Ricard. And this people had this vacuum cleaner probably 10, 15 years, and it needed a new brush roll. Put a new brush roll in, we turned it on, it started flying across the floor on its own. I said, you got to hold on, it's going to take you for a ride. But that's because the brush roll was new and it was really doing a good job of getting a hold of that carpet and moving. All right, so that's my suggestions about vacuum cleaners today. I'm still looking for my hair dryer, which is probably in the store here somewhere, because I want to show you all someday the wonderful additions that people used to add to vacuum cleaners to sell them, the door-to-door vacuums mostly. So anyway, all right, well, let's go on to sewing machines. And on sewing machines today, we're going to talk about rough spots. How many of you ever had a rough spot in your life? Oh, yes, we all have rough spots in our lives. Sometimes it's a little thing that can be annoying. Like I've got poison on my arm right here. My son and I went on a vacation 2 weeks ago, and I don't know if you saw the video where we were at the big bridge down there in Beckley, West Virginia, and there was lots of plants and things growing around there. Well, I wanted to get a good picture of the bridge, so I was leaning out and rubbing against these plants, and unbeknownst to me, those plants were poison, and I got some. So I still have effects of it, and it still itches sometimes. Don't scratch. Okay. So, but we all have rough spots in our lives. Some of them we can avoid. Some of them we have to do something about. On your sewing machine, a lot of people will come in and say, my thread keeps breaking on my sewing machine. What can I do about it? Well, I say maybe use a better quality thread. That's not always the answer. And besides, sewing machines nowadays are designed to use better quality thread than the old-fashioned ones, because the old-fashioned ones had a little bump in them, so it would allow it to take up that tension that you normally get on the modern machines. Anyway, back to rough spots. This is a needle plate. This is a brand new one, or fairly new one. I'll let you all on Facebook see it first. And now, you guys over here. See that? You can see the hole in the center there. It's kind of wide. That is nice and smooth. Well, on a lot of your machines, they're not nice and smooth because you have been sewing, maybe pushing your material instead of letting the machine feed it itself. And when you push your material, you can bend the needle just a little bit, and the needle comes down and hits that little hole right there, that little hole there. And it'll make a little burr mark on it because the needle punches on it, and it's not good. You shouldn't be punching down on things, or people. Don't do that. Anyway, so it could be causing that problem there. So you want to try to smooth that out. And you can use emery cloth. I've got some here. The stuff, it's actually cloth that's got emery on it. That's why they call it emery cloth. And so you can use that to help clean up that spot, get those rough spots out. Because the thread, every time you make a stitch, your thread goes way down inside that hole and comes way up and out. And it rubs sometimes on that metal. And if you got a rough spot there, it's not good. It will cause a problem. All right. So yesterday, I had a customer come in. Yeah, I was close, but still had a customer come in, and they had me working on their machine, and I took care of it. But when I got done, I told them to leave because I wanted to get some other work done. And so as I was doing this, I decided I might as well take care. It shouldn't take me long. Well, it took me longer than expected, as usual, because on their little hook, this is called a shuttle or a hook. And you can tell why it's called a hook, because it's got a hook right there. That's a hook right there. That little thing is a hook. And it comes around the back of the needle and grabs the thread. Well, that's just fine and dandy, but the thread gets carried around this whole thing. Every stitch you make, it gets pulled around this whole thing. Well, their shuttle, I don't know how it got it, but it had a rough spot in the middle. Just a little burr on the smooth part. The smooth part here had a rough spot. And I took my emery cloth and tried to smooth it up as best I could, because I don't want them to have to buy a new piece. I'll make money, but I like to sleep at night, and I like to help people solve their problems without spending lots of it. That doesn't make sense, does it? Well, that's just the way I am. Okay. So anyway, so I tried to smooth this. Wait a minute. I got a phone call here from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Let's see what we got. Hello, you're live and on the air at Shenandoah Sew and Vac. How can I help you? I don't think anybody's there. Hello, are you a human being? I don't think they would have called me, talked to me. My feelings are almost hurt, unless it's a robot. Then I don't care. All right, so this could be a problem. It could be a rough spot on this, and every time your thread goes around, it grabs that little piece of thread on there and can yank on a little bit or cause it to get frayed. And once it starts fraying and it comes up through the eye of the needle, the fraying gets caught there. And the next thing you go, you've got a big wad of fuzz. Now, I'm not talking about the police now. I don't want to offend any of you constables out there. But it could cause a problem with that. So we are going to try to take care of that problem either by filing this off and getting it nice and smooth or by replacing it. Now, some of you don't have a machine that looks like that. Some of you have a bobbin case that looks like this. You see that? And they don't call them bobbin cases anymore. They have some shuttle holder, all kinds of names. It's a bobbin case. You put your bobbin inside here and everything. Well, if this gets rough on the outside, it's going to mess you up. It's going to grab the thread and cause it to stay underneath for a while. It's going to cause problems. So you want to make sure this is nice and smooth. Smooth, as Red Skelton used to say. Actually, he said smoothie. I think it was the drink he was trying to sell on TV long ago, before many of you were even born, or a twinkle in your parents' eye. Okay, so this thing here is a bobbin case also, and so this could cause a problem. So you want to make sure that this is in good, smooth shape. If not, these can be purchased for your machine. Almost all machines can get these. I had a customer call me this past week that wanted one right away. And unfortunately, I might have it, but they weren't going to come here and chance it. So they're going to wait and see if the one they ordered fits. And if not, then they'll come see me. It's the way life is. Okay, so I wasn't going to order it because they've already ordered one online. And one of the things I tell people, if between ordering online and ordering from me, I guarantee it's going to work or you don't pay me. Now, you can return it and all that kind of stuff, but it's a lot of trouble to do that. All right, back to the story of smooth and rough. The other place it could be bad is where the thread slides through those thread guides. You know, sometimes you take your thread, you pull it down, and you snap it into place, and it lets the thread go through there. If that's rough, it can cause problems. It used to be I had a lot of people that were using things like fishing line or invisible thread, and that, when it's going through a machine at a real fast speed, it can get hot, and that can actually wear on the metal pieces. So you want to make sure that your spool guide or your thread guides are smooth so the thread slides through and doesn't get caught. If it does cause problems, there are two things you can do. Usually, you can bypass them. Just don't use them. And other times, you could just get a new one, or I can help remanufacture. That means bend, by the way. When a guy says he remanufactured a part, he bent it into place. But it helps when you know what you're doing, or you think you know what you're doing. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Do I have a spot? I have a spot on my shirt. Okay, so we're going to, I don't care. All right, so anyway, so I guess that's breakfast. So make sure things are smooth on your machine. If you're having problems with your thread breaking or kind of catching, you want to take care of that. That could be one of the problems that your machine is having. I'm not going to guarantee it is the only problem, but it could be one of the problems. Alrighty? Now, let's go on to lamps. Ooh, I'll be right back. I've got to go get a cord because I want to show you something that came up this week. Is that it? That's not it. Oh my goodness. You don't see it, do you? You are a mess today. All right, well, I'm going to talk to you about it anyway. I'm back. I'm coming back. I'm sorry. This is not what you should do if you're doing a live show on the internet, especially when somebody pops on and says, there's nobody there. All right. Ah, here it is. This is the cord. This cord was on a lamp that came in here, antique cord that took something very unusual. It took large pull chain sockets. They're very hard to come by. I had 2 left, and this lamp had 2. And I thought I could fix these because they wanted it to be as close to the antique as possible. But the chain, when you pull on it, it didn't click. This one clicked every other time, and I don't think that would have made them very happy if you had to pull the chain twice to get it to turn on and turn off. So anyway, so I replaced them with brand new ones. Well, as I was getting done, they said they wanted the lamp to be safe. And, you know, you do want a lamp to be safe. And one of the more dangerous parts of a lamp is in the cord. And so, because the lamp socket, if it burns up, catches on fire, usually there's nothing there to catch fire where the lamp is burning up there. I mean, you know, you got your shade far enough away. You know, there's nothing there that's going to catch fire. But your cord, like this cord here, okay, I don't know if you can see that, but see if I'm going to turn on the light here. Hold on. Boo! Oh my goodness. Okay. If you look right there, I got to get a close-up camera, I think. That's not going to work. Turn that light off. Okay. The cord is cracked, okay, right where it goes into the lamp. So if you wiggle it around enough, the cord, the rubber will break off and you'll start seeing metal. And when you see metal, it gets kind of scary. When you see two pieces of metal, it gets dangerous. Okay, so I get a lot of people coming in with vacuum cleaner cords and things, and they say, I need a new cord, and I'll say, why? And they say, because, you know, Fluffy or Sparky got a new name. Sparky started chewing on the cord. Well, that is pretty dangerous because it's punching holes in the cord and everything. But if the cord is, if you caught the cord with your brush roll, which I think I've shown you in the past how to vacuum with the cord, but people don't pay attention. Anyway, it happens. It even is on my vacuum cleaner cord too, by the way. The outer cover is worn off. They say, I need a new cord because the outer cover is worn off. I said, well, let's see the inside cover. And usually there are two sets of covers. You got the outside cover and you got two wires on the inside that have insulation. If the insulation on the inside is okay, there's no tears or burrs or anything on that inside insulation, wrap it up with some tape and pray for the best. It's not going to cause a problem. But if it's showing wire, you're seeing a little copper there, time to do something now, okay? Because you can wrap it with tape, but those wires might touch each other. And when they do, on a sewing machine, it's funny, on a foot control, if the wires break like this and they touch each other on the foot control, the machine runs full speed all the time because you're letting all the electricity run through it. That's not good. And it's probably not very safe either. But it's not like using a lamp. A lamp or the outside cord that plugs into the wall, that is dangerous because you've got the electric parts and they can touch each other. And when they touch each other, you've got welding going on. Lots of high power shooting together. It's terrible. So you want to make sure that that's safe. That's why I changed the cord on this lamp. Not because I wanted to soak them for anything. Because I wasn't even planning on changing it until I saw that. All right, so that's my lamp talk for the day. And it can be for anything, lamps, sewing machines, anything. If the wires are showing, do something. Do something about it, okay? Because that's not very safe. I had a customer come in the other day with a vacuum cleaner that wasn't working, and they thought it was a switch that I had done. Of course, you all were here when you saw the one that I had. That was a bad switch. Well, I noticed that the plug on the cord had been replaced, and it was kind of loose. So I took it open and opened it up, and there was one wire completely broken off. That was the problem. So they decided they were going to do it themselves, and there you go. I don't care. They can do that. All right, now cleaning your carpet. Okay, now yes, Labor Day. I did some labor, and do you know what? The landfill is closed on Labor Day. Now, on Labor Day, I expected that I was going to labor because it's a holiday to work. But I understand that's not what most people do. But that's what I remember. You know, now's the day to get your work done at home because you normally work. Now you've got Labor Day. Anyway, I cleaned up our garage, and I had the garage full. And come to find out that the landfill was not open, so I couldn't take the trash away. Facebook saying I've got a slow connection. Well, you got a slow person working, so if I'm a little fuzzy, life will go on. Alrighty. Cleaning. I have a rug in our garage, which is kind of crazy because we parked the car in there, but it helps us to get mom in and out of the car. So we pull the car into the garage, and we're thankful for the garage. I'm glad Dad had one put onto the house, because we can go in there, and if it's raining, snowing, wind blowing, or whatever, we can open up the door to the car, take our time, get Mom out of the car, into the wheelchair, and into the house without having to get wet, wind blown, or frostbite. Or sunburned. I don't know. Anyway, so I was cleaning the garage rug. And so I was using one of our vacuum cleaners. I'm not going to say what brand, but it was one with a brush roll. And I went over the rug in one direction. And there was grass and all kinds of stuff over it. And so then I vacuumed it in another direction. The other one this way, like TV screen here, up and down and across. I'm feeling very monastic right now. Anyway, so either up and down and back and forth, and also at an angle. I don't know if that's Greek Orthodox or what, but at an angle too. So you vacuum it as many times as you can in different directions, and making sure the rug is being pulled in different directions, because rugs have a weave or have a bias to them. So they work better in one direction than the other. So if you vacuum in all the directions, you'll get that carpet nice and clean, and then you'll be able to have a cleaner carpet, and it'll fluff up, even though this carpet didn't have much fluff. So anyway, that is something that you don't have to do it every time. But if you notice your carpet's kind of feeling a little lonely, like it's not being paid attention to, or if it's laying flat and it doesn't feel like it has any energy, try vacuuming in multiple directions. I even have here at the store, I have a carpet. He says he has it. He doesn't see it. He must have taken it to the house. I have a carpet rake that I sell, if you want one, that people with very fancy carpets, ever been going into a house, you could tell if somebody walked into their room, their living room, because you see the footprints going across the carpet coming back out. Well, they have things called rakes, carpet rakes, that go over the floor and fluff up the carpet in the proper direction so it looks uniform. It's kind of a Zen thing. You ever seen those sand things where you play with the sand, make little circles and diamonds and things? The Japanese got bored, I guess. Anyway, but you could do that with your carpet too. What a fun thing to do. Do that with the kids. Have the kids play with the carpet rake in your living room, as long as you don't have anything porcelain sitting around. I can tell you a story about a porcelain lamp once, but it didn't end pretty for me, especially when I didn't tell the truth, and had friends around that did. So not good. All right, so that is my talk about carpet cleaning. Vacuum in different directions that helps to raise the nap of the carpet and make it cleaner. Okay, because you need to rough up your carpet to get clean. All right, and that's what God has to do to us sometimes. All right, now something and I don't know if anybody's listening or watching or whatever, but something that I've thought about, and I've seen it at the landfills, and I kind of wish that I were a little more, I don't know, scrappy. If you drive by my store, you'll see a bunch of plants out front, and you'll see some pots that I have, some concrete pots and some giant plastic pots. And the concrete pots were here at the store, I think, when I moved here, or they were at the house. And the big pots I did buy from a dollar store somewhere. But people throw away pots, and they throw away the hanging baskets with all that nice loose soil that's in them. It might have been used, the nutrients might have been used up, but it's nice loose soil. And you can add that to other dirt and make nice flower pots. Because the dirt I have is pretty heavy. So I usually try to pick up and find old flower pots that all the plants are dead. You know, you've taken the flowers off, the mums, and the morning glories, things like that. All the flowers are dead. The season's over. And I like to take those old pots and throw all the dirt into like a garbage bag, or I keep the pot and then I reuse that soil the next year to help loosen up some of the newer soil that I buy. Because a lot of times you buy this soil, and I think they charge you by weight and add water to it, so it's heavier. And it makes it kind of muddy. And so if you add that to the old flower pots that you buy your hanging baskets and things from, it really is nice. So if anybody has any of those, that they're going to throw away. I might have to come back next week and say, stop it. But I would like for you, if you could, bring them by and put them out in front of my store. Now, the other thing I'm going to talk about in the future are political signs. I don't care what politician you are pushing for or whatever. If you have those old plastic signs, not the plastic bag type, they've got those nowadays, but the plastic, corrugated plastic signs, chloroplast, I think it's what it's called. If you have those and you're done with them and you don't think you're going to use them again, I have family members that ran for office and they have some old signs. I'm hoping to get those to make some things out of. But they're nice for projects. They're lighter than 2x4s. They're stronger than cardboard, and they don't fall apart very easily. And so anyway, I've thought of several projects I'd like to do with them. One was to make a geodome for Family Promise. I don't know if they're going to do Cardboard City again or not, but I've thought about doing that kind of crazy stuff, and I haven't had enough of the signs. I'm collecting them, but I don't have enough of those signs. So out front of the store, there would be a place. If I start getting them, I will put a sign up of where to put them, but I don't think anything's going to happen with that. So, all right. Now, my thoughts for the day. I watched or listened to a podcast with this one guy who was a businessman who was talking to a bunch of people that consider themselves to be socialists or communists. They said themselves. That's what they believe they are. And I like to listen to this kind of stuff because I get to hear what other people think. I might not agree with any of them, but I like to hear what other people think. So anyway, I was listening to these people, and the businessman offered many of these people a job. They said, we can't find work. The system is against us. We can't work. We can't do anything. And this guy made a comment about, well, come for an interview, and I'll interview you, and I'll get you a job that suits your needs. And then well, I don't know. So they didn't really want the job, I don't think. They might have, but they might not liked his politics, so they didn't want to work for him. Don't want to make the man rich. So my thoughts are, though, if those kids or adults think that they're at a dead-end job, they're working at, I was going to say Burger King, or well, they're going, some of them are going, a Burger King or some of these fast food places, which are called starter jobs for a lot of people. Okay, and I've talked to people. I've had kids work for me from school, and people have come in and say they need to have a living wage. I said, well, I don't even make a living wage. I mean, what they consider to be minimum wage, I don't make that, but I never have. I've paid my employees minimum wage. That's fine. But the idea is that you're supposed to learn and make more money as you get older. I'm old. Anyway, so the idea I was thinking is we have, most of us, if you're watching this, you have an opportunity to learn anything you want on your phone or your computer through YouTube, through lectures, through videos, all kinds of things. And books. There are lots of books on here. I've talked about that in the past. Think about it. You can have the opportunity to learn anything. Nuclear power. You can learn about nuclear power on the internet for free. Okay? And it takes time. You might have to sit down and write something. There are schools, MIT and other things have lectures live and free on the internet. What an opportunity we have. We don't have to expect people to give us things, but they are. They are giving us all kinds of opportunities. We live not only in a land, we live in a world of plenty. Okay? Yes, maybe I don't have the latest car or truck. I might not have the latest gadgets. My computers and things have broken screens or they don't work all the time and that kind of. So what? We have more than our parents did. We had 3 channels on the TV, and one of them only worked if we used a coat hanger and some aluminum foil. And our idea of remote was a pair of pliers, and I was the remote. Dad would say, go change the channels. You get up and you take the pliers and change the channels. We don't have that anymore. We watch what we want when we want to. My mom really likes Perry Mason, or used to watch all of them on family TV or something like that on the satellite dish. And once we got rid of the satellite dish, we used the internet. And Mom said, "Is it time for Perry Mason?" And I would say, "It's always time for Perry Mason." So we would watch it on YouTube or on, I don't know, different Freebie. There used to be a network called Freebie, and there used to be the network 2B, all these different networks that are out there that you can watch. Or Internet Archive even has old TV shows you can watch. Beat the Clock is a fun one to watch from the 1940s and 50s on television. You get really excited. And even though, you know, the game is already over, the people are probably dead that were doing it, it's still interesting to watch those kind of things. So, anyway, but I grew up watching television. Didn't learn too much watching TV. I just watched television. It was Thursday night, was the Wild Wild West, all this stuff. I wasted so much of my life just watching TV. What I could have learned if I'd have spent more time and effort into it. And now that I'm getting older, or I am old, I think of all the time that I don't have to learn more. And it's kind of sad. I mean, I think about all the times I sat around underneath a tree listening to an 8-track player that looked like a, I don't know what it was. It looked like a something for demolition. But I'd sit there under the tree, watch life go by, just listening to music and daydreaming. Not planning, just daydreaming. Planning is different. Planning is a good thing, because if you don't have a plan, you won't do it. Now, if you just have a wish, that's not going to work either. So you got to have a plan, and you got to work on it. So anyway, that's keep learning is what I wanted to talk about today. And just keep learning. Learn new things. It's really good for you. It helps your brain stay young, and it keeps you going. All right. Anybody have any comments? My phone is right here, 540-459-1888. Call me. I am here right now, and I've already talked my half hour. And Mom, I don't know if you're watching this one or not. She misses a few of them. I don't blame her. But if you're, man, I look so big that way. I'm going to get closer. I still look big. All right. So I'll be back next week. My beloved is heading out of town. She's leaving me to see her father. Okay. I had to go a long ways to find someone that didn't know my family. And so she takes off. She's going to go. And then I'm going to go chase her down in a week or two and bring her back. Hopefully. That's the plan. All righty. So, you guys, I'll talk to you all next week. Hopefully with some new and exciting things. More exciting than what I've got right now. And we'll see how it goes. Oh, I got a customer coming in. Let me see if I can help them. All right, hold on here. We're gonna talk. Greetings. How can I help you this fine and sunny day? We're live and on the air, by the way.
Are you?
Yes.
That's great.
Okay, how can I help you?
I have an old singer machine, something like that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I wanted to see if you could take a look at it. It's my mom. She passed away.
Can you put it on top of your car and drive by? I'll wave. You want me to actually look at it? Bring it on in. Bring it on in. All right, I'm gonna hang up now. You guys have a great week. Don't forget to leave notes. Ask me questions. I appreciate it. And sewing machines, vacuum cleaners, lamps. Don't ask me nuclear power questions. I don't know anything about it. And so also batteries. I don't know too much about batteries. They keep changing them. Someday we'll get a good one, but I don't think we have any good ones yet because they catch fire. Not a good thing. All right. Talk to y'all later. I'm going to finish up on Facebook first. Goodbye. Say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. All right, they're gone. All right. So now you guys out there, now we can really talk. That's not true. We'll talk to you later. I'm going to help this lady here. Say goodnight. Oh, it says end over here. I'm going to hit end. I hit end. Oh, it says, do you want to end? Yes, I do want to end. Say goodbye. Say goodnight. Yes, I want to end this. Say goodnight, Gracie. Okay. Good night, Gracie. That was Gracie saying good night, Gracie. All right, bye.